Team River Runner does out-of-sight clinics throughout the year, and they chose 5 blind veterans to train for essentially 2 years to prepare for this trip. I was the lead guide for Kathy Champion. She's a blind veteran. For each veteran, there's 3 support. There's 1 lead guide, and then there's 2 safety kayakers that follow behind them just in case something happens or to correct a line. We were a little concerned about voice, and what I ended up doing was buying a waterproof speaker, like to play music. So during the flat water sections, we were just rocking out to music. I had it hanging on the back of my life jacket. You know, I'd roll and it would still be playing. And I didn't have any problem with my voice, which was awesome. I also had a little cowbell, so kind of ring it. But when the water got really loud, I'd have to yell. They probably did half a dozen trips each year to various places in the nation to do training. Rolls. The request was to do 1,000 rolls by the time they got to the clinic, or by the time they got to the Grand Canyon. We tried to simulate what the water would be like on the Grand Canyon. Big water swirly eddies. It's actually really challenging to find a place that simulates the Grand Canyon. And the closest that we found was in June on the Salmon River. I can't remember what the CFS were, but it was running pretty good, and it had a lot of boils, and definitely felt a little bit more like the Grand Canyon. But still, I mean, we never saw 15, 20-foot waves like you do on the Grand Canyon. We had a lead guide, kayak guide, who before every rapid, he'd kind of tell us the lines. But here's the crazy thing. Out of all the lead guides, I was the only one that had never run the Grand Canyon. So I was joking, but it's kind of true that it was like the blind leading the blind. She's like, all right, what do we have up here? I'm like, I have no idea. Just follow me. Paddling flat water for a while, and all of a sudden you hear this roar. And it's a loud roar, and it gets louder and louder and louder as you get closer. And there's just a horizon line. And then you start seeing this water spitting up, and you're still not seeing what's ahead. And you know, because I hadn't paddled the Grand Canyon before, I just had what people were saying. Oh, this rapid is the hardest rapid, or this one has the biggest waves. And so just going into the unknown and knowing that I had to reflect the calm in my voice when I was guiding, even though my heart was jumping out of my skin at times, because they pick up on that. And so if I'm calm, then they're calm. Kathy lost a tooth. She got a little bruise on her knee. Her roll was a little shaky at first, and she actually got her first combat roll on the Grand Canyon in one of the longest rapids, and it was probably the highlight of the trip. It was very exciting. Probably one of the most impactful moments, but also hiking, I can't pronounce it, Matcat Canyon. It's this little slot canyon that twists and turns, and you know, you're hiking over a big boulder, and you know, the walls are that close, and that was pretty amazing. And you know, Kathy holds onto my shoulder, and we have our little system of hiking, telling her, you know, if the rock is a knee-high rock, I say knee, and if it's waist, I'll put her hand on there. And you know, we've kind of dialed it in. We've hiked a lot together, and it's a total team trust. She's got to trust me, and I got to trust her that she's going to do what I say. Because sometimes where you're on the edge of a cliff, you know, if she second guesses me, we're both going down. We were a well-oiled machine, her and the other 2 safety boaters, and it was a pretty awesome experience. There was definitely ebb and flow and energy. The trip was a 12-day trip, which is a relatively quick trip. And when you're blind and you're following voice, you're following voice. So if the water is swirling back and forth, the guide may be shot in one direction and the blind paddler may be shot in another direction. So all of a sudden they're trying to find the voice there, and then they switch sides going back and forth. So they're spending 10 times more energy just trying to follow in a straight line than we are. We're all this close away from having a life-changing disability. You never know when, if your cards could be drawn, and I want to be able to do these things, as long as I'm alive. So I'm hoping that organizations like this will continue to thrive for whoever needs them. 60 plus chapters nationwide. Lots of opportunity, whether you want to learn to kayak or just have a social experience, but it's changed many, many people's lives. Get involved. Go paddling.